This is Logical Logistics, where we cover shipping, supply chain, logistics, and everything in between. Welcome to the show.
Hey everybody, Joe Becht, Logical Logistics. A little update on the current situation with the coronavirus and the impact it is having on the supply chain, our economy, and health system. A little background on myself. I had heart surgery back in 2012. I'm not at-risk. I'm not in the at-risk category, by the way. It was a valve replacement. So in case anyone was concerned, thank you. Anyway, I spoke with one of my physicians at University of Chicago. I also know I was handled by an infectious disease doctor back in 2010. He's at Elmhurst Hospital. Both physicians were not very keen on being interviewed and were basically they're busy. They don't want to talk. But the best advice they gave, and I'm going to pass this along to everyone out there, is to limit the amount of news content that's being flooded into your psyche. So when I had my heart surgery, I was specifically told, whenever you look up a disease, just stick to Mayo Clinic's or Cleveland Clinic's websites. Don't go all this other place, because it could be a pimple or it could be cancer if you go to these other websites. The same strategy applies here with the coronavirus. They both said definitely listen to Dr. Fauci, who is just an amazing individual. He's part of the task force. You see him on TV every day. He's been on the forefront of all types of pathogens. He has been the leader in HIV research since 1984. So the guy knows what he's talking about. Just listen to what he has to say. Listen to the CDC. If you go online, if you want straight statistics, just go to Johns Hopkins and really whittle down the amount of information that we're getting. I'm guilty of it myself. You just become overwhelmed. And then we're getting bombarded with, you're worried about your health, you're worried about the health care, you're worried about society, you're worried about your job, you're worried about the economy. The advice these two physicians gave were to listen to Dr. Fauci, check the Johns Hopkins site occasionally, and go about your business. I personally I'm taking a news break right now. I'm not going to look at it at all today. I don't want to look at the stock market. It will come back. May not come back tomorrow. It might not come back in 6 months, but historically it comes back. It's almost like we're at war. I also interviewed a gentleman that works in the service department at the old McNeil Hospital in Berwyn, which is part of Loyola Medical's facility here in Chicago. And I asked him what the hospital situation was there. This is a medium to smaller, a little bit larger than a medium-sized medical facility. He said it is absolutely quiet. They are low on patients. They're not taking any visitors, and nothing's happening there. And it is of his opinion, with discussions through the people who actually do the legwork, some physicians, but also the people that are actually stocking the food and the beds and everything else, that they are more than prepared for a flood of patients getting this disease. Now, the big concern is we do not want to get into a situation that is happening in Italy. So in the next coming weeks, we're going to find out if that actually happens and if we actually have flattened the curve. And if you listen to Dr. Fauci, he specifically explains we may not prevent deaths from occurring, but if we spread them out over a longer period of time instead of just getting slammed like Italy, and quite possibly it's occurring in France as well, that would be quite a success. So the next 2 weeks should be quite exciting, but honestly, there are exciting things and crazy things happening every minute, which leads me to my next topic: international shipping, which I mentioned yesterday. If you, especially in this time, you want to deal with a white glove service right now, and Bel Air is the company to do that. Go to belair.com, contact the company, and they will do whatever they can. Right now, they are helping two significant medical supply companies dealing with this, and also dealing with another area, but having to supply the proper equipment to work around this situation. So what's happening in the international realm is interesting because a lot of inquiries are coming. As I mentioned briefly yesterday, they're coming from all over the world. Yes, China. It's mostly ocean. The air freight is crazy. The rates change almost hourly. So it's like your news cycle where you're getting good news here, then 5 bad news feeds here. So that's what's happening with the international airline rates. Domestic flights are still out there. If you want to fly domestically, I have a coworker who just was bumped up to first class for no charge, and I think she paid $48 on American Airlines. But I mean, obviously they're flying. Not a lot of people are flying right now due to the caution that's being taken. But domestic flights are flying, and things are getting around, and people are going about their jobs. And I think there should be some optimism that this is going to eventually turn around. When? We don't know. And that's the big problem. A lot of people don't know. But I believe we're getting bits and pieces that will give us a clearer picture. And again, I find that Dr. Fauci and the 2 doctors I consulted will concur with this, is the primary information source that you should listen to. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We will have an episode come up shortly. We have a supply chain guest scheduled next week. It should be interesting what his take is, because he actually deals in literal supply chain, from the manufacturing to the shipping to the delivery of the product, and this is worldwide. So we'll see what his take is. He's working remotely right now, which is interesting. A lot of people are. I'm doing a little bit of both, but the people at Logical Logistics, BES Logistics, and Bel Air, there are people in the office, and they work in small teams, which is good. And when you want to contact them directly, they will talk to you directly. No voicemails. Direct email, if you prefer email, direct email communication will be there. But you will get the communication that you need when you need it. So it's good talking to you. Hang in there. And till next episode, can't thank you enough for the emails, for the listens, and we'll talk soon.
Hey, thanks for listening to the show. If you want to drop us a line, email us at becht5@comcast.net. You can leave comments, or if you want to be a guest, becht5@comcast.net. Also, make sure to review us on iTunes or other media outlets that we're located on. Special thanks goes out to Anthony B., my producer. And we'll see you next time on Logical Logistics.
Click the subscribe button for new videos every week, and download us and review us on iTunes. Visit www.beslogistics.net for more logistics, transportation, and warehousing resources. Thanks for watching.